If you're watching this in New Zealand, you're probably just living a normal life at this point, aren't you? You're probably just walking around licking people because you can. Because I tell you what, when all this is over, I'll be doing the school run, just necking all the other dads. Come here. If any of the dads on the school run are watching this video, FYI, that was a little joke. And there's a vaccine on its way, apparently, maybe a couple, 2 or 3. The way the news is going at the moment, it's like there'll be vaccines all over the place. We'll be like, which vaccine works for you? This vaccine's great for my skin. But until that point, we need to get through it. So these are my 10 tips for getting through COVID-19. Focus on what you can control. The world is upside down. It's a mess. How can I change the world when I can't keep my kitchen clean? So what can you control? Focus on those things and control those things. You know, maybe it's like one room in your house that you keep tidy. It's difficult with kids. My house looks like a dirty bomb's gone off. But maybe there's one room. Maybe that's not it. Maybe it's something else. But what can you control? You can control what clothes you put on. You can control your diet to a degree. It's difficult, but ultimately all the stuff you can't control, you've got to let go, haven't you? Well, that leads me on to my next point, which is limit your time on social media. I'm aware of the hypocrisy posting this on a social media platform and telling you to limit your time on social media. Of course, I'm not talking about my content. Watch that all day. Don't do that, you would go absolutely potty. You don't have to leave completely. You don't have to delete all your accounts. You don't need to be that person who announces to the world that you're leaving Facebook before creeping back on the next day like normal. I'm leaving social media. But think about how much time you're scrolling through. Like, where are you going? You're just trying to get to the bottom. I'm just trying to get to the bottom of Facebook. I'm just scrolling, and with every finger motion, feeling a little bit worse because all of this is negative. Does it make you feel better? Probably not. You know, I was feeling a little bit anxious, but I've just spent 20 minutes on Twitter and now I feel absolutely fantastic. That never happens. You feel worse, don't you? Also, when are you scrolling through? Is it first thing when you wake up? Kick off the day with some needless anxiety. Woohoo! Or just before bed, you know, reading like unsubstantiated rumour that's going to affect your dreams. Is that going to be good for you just before bed? Of course it isn't. We know that. We know that consciously, but subconsciously we're addicted. We're all addicted to our phones. It's something to do with your hands. I know if I sit down, before I know it, I've got my phone out and I'm looking at it without even realising what I'm doing. I'm reading posts from someone I don't know who's saying things I don't agree with about a subject I'm not interested in. Why am I doing this? So stop scrolling, put the phone out of reach and try and live in the moment. Number 3, dress up once in a while. Listen, I get it. Sweatpants are great. They're comfy. It doesn't matter if you spill stuff on them. For the first 3 months of lockdown, I had 1 pair of sweatpants. And without getting into the specifics, they did not get washed as much as they should have done. Because even Zoom work calls, important work calls can be done with sweatpants on. Jogging bottoms on. Get the angle right. You can have, you know, sweatpants, baggy tights, Crocs, socks. The works. From the waist up, executive. From the waist down, vagrant. It's so tempting. So dressing up once in a while just breaks the monotony, doesn't it? Me and my wife do date night. We set aside that time for each other. We get dressed up, put shoes on. Actual shoes, which is dead weird if you've not left the house for a while. Putting smart shoes on, it makes you feel different. It changes the vibe, it changes the mood, it breaks you out of this cycle that you're in. And we did it every Saturday. I'm saying that like it was a chore. It was brilliant. It was magic. It was great every Saturday. Certainly in lockdown 1, we both get dressed up. You know, I'd iron me sweatpants. No, I'd put like proper pants on. Proper pants. And then we'd cook a nice meal. She'd cook a nice meal. She might be watching this. Number 5 is take the bad days in your stride. What does that mean? Well, it means that we all have bad days. We all have bad days anyway, but especially at the moment, what I found really useful is to just accept the fact that there are going to be bad days where you're going to feel tired, like not just physically tired, mentally exhausted, even though you might not have done anything all day. The world is tiring at the moment. If you're having a bad day, own it. I'm having a bad day, so I'm going to be nice to myself. Understand that you will probably not stay in that state forever. Tomorrow's a new day. You might feel completely different. Tomorrow might be another bad day. So own that one as well. You might have a few bad days on the bounce, but they are going to come. So just accept that. But how do you avoid the bad days? Well, that's my next point. Get some human contact. This is vital. Everything's gone online now. Chatting to your friends on Zoom is great. It's not the same as being in the company of someone that you know, an old friend, a colleague, anyone, someone that you can have a chat with. In the UK at the moment, we're allowed to meet up with other households as long as we're outside. Is that right? And it's less than 6 of us. I think that's right. Please check the laws before you listen to me. Check the laws again, because they might have changed since you just checked them a minute ago. None of us ever valued what we used to have before all this happened. Small talk, office chit-chat, little hellos. Going into a local shop and chatting to the owner as you're buying the paper. It picks me up. It's got me through some really bad days, meeting friends for a walk. That has been an absolute lifeline. The next point is be nice to your body. I'm not being smutty here. Why are you laughing? I'm not talking about living like a monk here. You know, I certainly don't. But do we need to be boozing every night? Now, back in March when all this started, I was boozing every night. I think probably most of us were. I mean, at the start of lockdown 1, our house was like the Motley Crue tour bus. Every fortnight when the recycling bins got emptied by ours, it sounded like the Monday morning after Glastonbury, you know, all the bottles smashing into the bin lorry. It was embarrassing. They were all mine. So I love a drink. Honestly, I love a drink. I do. But if you drink every day, your immune system's not as strong as it should be, which at the moment is obviously important. You don't sleep as well, so you feel more tired, you feel more irritable, you don't get the chance to refresh. Plus, you're more likely to eat bad food and get terrible sleep, which leads me to my next point. Try and get more sleep. This is hard, really hard. I know, I can hear you laughing at me. How are we going to do that, Sam? If you've got little kids, it's really difficult. My problem is the only me time that I get is just before I go to bed, which means I don't go to bed when I should do. I stay up watching crap television. Even when I get to bed, I've got all these temptations in my earbuds because you've got, podcasts, you've got every single song that's ever been recorded on your phone. I once listened to an interview in bed with a guy who's an expert in sleep, talking about the importance of getting sleep, which I miss sleep to listen to, which is ridiculous. You're not going to get a lie-in with kids, are you? So try and go to bed a little bit earlier. I'm saying this as someone who had a full head of hair about 2 years ago. Just try for a week going to bed 20 minutes earlier and see if it works out for you. Next one is meditate. This isn't for everyone. You know, and I certainly used to laugh at anyone who did it. It sounds like tree-hugging hippie bullshit, doesn't it? But it really worked for me. I've got this app on my phone. There's loads of them you can get. I've got one called Calm. And I think it's free for 10 days and then you have to pay like an annual subscription. I find it really good. You do 10 minutes a day and it just sorts your head out. Just makes you feel better. The hardest bit at the start, it says, find somewhere quiet and alone to sit down. I'm like, that place doesn't exist in my house, mate. I've got my little spot now that I sit and I do it and it helps me. It's not for everyone. It helps me. That's what this video is about. And the next thing is practice self-care. This can sound daunting, but I'm not talking about taking a 3-hour bath on the roof wearing hemp robes stitched by fairies surrounded by joss sticks. I'm just talking about looking after yourself, doing something for you. What do you like to do? It just means breaking up the day with a bit of me time. So what do you like to do? What's good for you? Is it reading a book for 10 minutes on your own? Is it not scrolling through your phone while you're eating your dinner? Is it actually having a lunch break if you're working from home, going somewhere, sitting in a different room, going in the garden? It's a bit cold at the moment. A change of scenery just to have your lunch. That'd be super beneficial for you and breaking up your day. And my last thing is have stuff to look forward to. That's what we normally have in life, isn't it? It could be a day off, it could be a night out. These things are tricky at the moment, but you've still got to have those little moments in place in your calendar so that you can focus on something in the future that's going to be a happy time. Especially if you're going through a bad day at that moment. I mentioned date night, that's a great thing me and my wife look forward to every week. But these are just my things that have helped me get through the last, 9-10 months. What are yours? There'll be loads of others. Tell me in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. It would really help me if you've enjoyed this video, if you'll give it a like. Until next time, stay safe, stay sane.